Everybody, welcome to this video on 3 ways to strengthen your copy. A bunch of people liked my video where I talked about how in the end of my copy sometimes I'll put in a little bit of, a paragraph or two trying to just get the people that are kind of on the edge, that are almost ready to do something. This mostly has to do with things like when I'm writing an advertorial and I'm trying to get somebody to watch a video after they read an advertorial. So if I'm doing like a pre-sale advertorial, that's even like a pre-sale because you're doing it even, they have to watch a video to make the sale. When I'm doing those things, sometimes at the end of my copy, I'll say something like, even if you're not interested in this, you might still want to watch it up until a certain point because there will be, X information. There will be this little tip that might actually help you or something like that. And you always have to remember, I always also put in why. I always say, I can't share this because, the video is copyrighted. I can't share this because it's a secret that you have to find out by watching the video or something. You always have to give a reason. But sometimes doing that can increase my conversion percentage, a few percent. Maybe it's only a few percent. Sometimes I've had it up to 10 or 20%, actually huge increases. But I don't find it to be a consistent technique, but it's still one of those things that can really make the difference, especially when you're sending thousands of leads. It can make all the difference in the world. So here are 3 more ways to strengthen your copy. These are actually 3 more little tricks that I sometimes include in my copy, especially when I'm testing. If I'm testing, 10 pieces or something like that against each other, 10 different advertorials or something along those lines, then I will include pieces with various elements like this. The first one is the unknown enemy. And this is used to, I use this to divert attention. This is a little bit different than, a lot of people who talk about copy, they talk about a common enemy, which, in diabetes offers, for example, if you're writing for diabetes, a lot of these people who have diabetes have a distrust or dislike for their doctor. Not always true, but definitely can be depending on the demographic for the actual offer itself. But a lot of them also feel like they're blamed by their doctor. If you do a lot of research on it, you'll see a lot of them feel like their doctors are blaming them for all these things, which, really, honestly, it's usually totally their fault anyway. But when you're writing copy, you want to be on their side. So that's like a common enemy. A great example of an unknown enemy is the HBO show The Jinx. If any of you haven't watched The Jinx, I highly recommend that you do. I think you can get it on iTunes and everything if you don't have HBO. But The Jinx was about Robert Durst, who is a millionaire or billionaire from the Durst real estate empire in New York, and they think that he killed a bunch of people, but he shot and killed his neighbor and cut him up into pieces and threw him into the big body of water in Texas. I'm not sure if it was the ocean or if it was just a river. But the point is that his lawyers got him off of those charges, got him off of the murder charge, which is unbelievable because if you're chopping somebody up, that's a hard thing to get away with. So I definitely recommend everybody watch The Jinx, even just for the court highlights. You can find actually a lot of the court highlights as well on YouTube, and you can find a lot of his, the proceedings and things on there, and I highly recommend people do that. But anyway, the point is that his defense team came up with this story about how Jeanine Pirro, who many of you may know as like a judge from New York, she has a TV show, I believe, on Fox, and they claim that she was out to get him. And so they really built a lot of sympathy and a lot of empathy for Robert, claiming that this big, powerful lady who has a TV show was really out to get him and was really out to attack him and, was out to kind of destroy him and all these other things. And they didn't really focus on the actual points, any of the other points of the case all that much. They really kind of built this unknown enemy into Jeanine Pirro, and it won him the case. They basically felt like, that he was trying to run from this big bad witch in a lot of ways, and they were able to develop that. So we can actually develop this with our products. It's a little bit difficult to do, but one example I have here that I think of that's even a recent example is this fake news thing. There's all this fake news going around, and or this whole controversy with fake news in the media and all this. So if you're trying to sell a product, especially a supplement, you could use that to your benefit, where you say, the reason people don't trust supplements is because of fake news. And, see, you could just develop a story from there, creating this kind of like unknown enemy, and you could put all the blame onto them, onto this other thing, and you could, transfer basically attention. So it's definitely a great way to try something. I kind of look at all three of these as Hail Marys. If I really have a really good campaign going, then I'll throw maybe a piece with an unknown enemy, maybe a piece with beyond a reasonable doubt, and I'll include additional benefits. We'll talk about this more at the end, but I kind of throw these in there just to see if one will work, and sometimes it's a home run, sometimes it's not. But definitely, thinking about something like fake news, creating this unknown enemy in a piece of copy could work out very well. Next, I have beyond a reasonable doubt. So the other thing that you can do to strengthen your copy, and especially advertorials, is to strengthen your proof elements. And again, we're using a lot of law here, a lot of ideas from lawyers. But, I say, imagine you are a lawyer during trial convicting somebody of murder. Most affiliates, they just present the weapon in the copy, which, could be the offer. They just present the offer, but they don't build up any evidence underneath. So I have here, you want to add fingerprints and DNA, the motive, and all these other things to your copy. Once I started thinking about copy like this, once I started thinking about it like I was a lawyer trying to present a case, my copy got significantly better. As I've said a bunch of times in videos, I am not a great writer. I was dyslexic. I couldn't even read mostly when I was younger, because I actually couldn't see. So I was, developmentally, I was far behind as far as reading goes, and even writing. I was never really that great at writing, never great at school. So again, if I can do this, then you definitely can do this as well. But once I started thinking about it in this way, that you're just a lawyer, you're trying to build a case, I think it's the best way to look at it, and it really will help you present your arguments a lot better. And I watch a lot of police TV and a lot of legal TV and things, mostly real. I don't like to necessarily watch the fake stuff because it's written for TV, although it's still good. But you can find plenty of arguments by lawyers on YouTube. You can find just tons of amazing information like that. So definitely feel free to watch it. A lot of great arguments that you can discover are from that, and even great storytelling as well comes from lawyers who win cases, especially, like I said, ones like the Jinx, that first one there, Robert Durst. I mean, to get somebody off of murder charges when they've chopped somebody up is a pretty hard thing to do. So these are definitely people you want to study, and obviously you want to use this stuff for good, not bad. And then finally, I have here additional benefits. Now, warning: do not get too carried away with this. This is different than just having additional benefits on a product, but definitely you don't want to take away from the main idea of your copy. And for me, this is kind of like a last-ditch effort thing. If I think I can squeeze out a few extra percentage points in CTR or in conversions, then sometimes I'll include this. So I think of what else can a product do. An example I have here is maybe there's a product about weightlifting. I wrote a piece for a weightlifting product a little while ago. It was for guys, and it was specifically to develop a specific, muscle look, I guess you could say. And it was for basically a product that gave people more of an athletic build. And that was the main idea of the product. But were there, what else could we add in there? Our main idea, the main point of the piece was to get people who want this athletic build, who want to look a certain way. But one thing that played out really well is we found out that a lot of the people who who would want this product, who want to look this certain way, then they also wanted to be able to attract more women, and most of them were single. So we were able to weave that into the copy, and it made it a lot stronger, and it made it convert a lot better. So again, additional benefits outside of the actual goal. Now, like I say, this is this can be very dangerous, because as far as I'm concerned, when I'm writing a piece of copy, I like to focus on one thing. That's the other thing that I did when I started writing copy, that things didn't really convert, and I found out I was writing about too much, going in too many different directions. So I always like to focus on one main idea, but every once in a while, again, you can add in a bit into your copy where you say, not only will you get the body that you want, but this will also help you attract more women and things, and that can work out very well. So there are other ways to do that, a million ways, depending on what you're writing on for products. There are a bunch of ways where you can add in extra benefits and things that can really kind of just add an increase. But again, it's definitely something you have to do your research, definitely, because you have to know who you're actually writing for. And again, this would have been dangerous, because what if our potential customers, or they were actually going to be clients, but what if they were all married and we didn't know that? And we wrote this whole piece about how, when if we just left it alone and just said you'll get the athletic build, then, and that would have been enough. So again, it's not always a good idea unless you are 100% certain of your audience. And same thing with supplements as well. Sometimes supplements will have a main purpose, like, I have here this oregano oil, which I've been using as an example for weeks, and this is for immune support. So say you're writing a piece about this for supporting your immune system, but say it has something else, like it can increase, say this could increase athletic performance or something like that. You could include that in the copy as kind of like an additional benefit. You could say, not only would taking this help you with with your immune system and making sure that you don't get sick, but it also kind of has an extra additional benefit that you don't have to do anything for. You don't have to do any extra work. This is kind of like a side benefit that just happens, but it also increases your athletic performance. So that's a great way to frame things. And the other great way to frame it as well is, again, you want to make sure to frame these additional benefits as just things that they get that they don't have to do anything for. They're just like benefits that kind of come as just a result of doing the work that they're already going to be doing. And but again, would writing that this increases athletic performance really help the product? Probably not. So I would just leave it out. But it's definitely something you want to think about whenever you're writing a piece, especially if you have the benefit of testing pieces with your clients, or with yourself if you're an affiliate. If you can test pieces, then it's always worth testing, one with additional benefits, one without additional benefits and things. So that's that. Thank you for watching.